All right, let's get started. Before we get started, let's make sure that I'm actually live. So hold on just 1 minute. Okay. Let's check here. It's connecting. And we are live. Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome in everyone. And welcome to Beyond Remission, a new era of permanent healing. My heart is so excited for the topic of today's video. But before we get there, for those that are new to my channel, I want you to know a little bit about me, that I am someone who 10 years ago, I came here to a new life center where I work, and I was sick. I was struggling. I had 8 autoimmune diseases. I was struggling with Hashimoto's. I had lupus. I had CVID, rheumatoid arthritis, Raynaud's. I was getting early stage MS. I was 28. And I also had a host of other chronic conditions, depression, anxiety, ADD. And I was only eating 5 foods. I was on, supplements, medication, cleanses, you name it. My body kept breaking down and I didn't know what was wrong. I started to wonder if this was going to be my whole existence for the rest of my life. I came to where I work now and I had the awareness, thanks to my mentor, David Cope, that the real problem was just in a positive way me. That I wasn't handling my emotional stress well. And it was the emotional stress that I had suppressed over my lifetime that was actually caused and was perpetuating my illnesses. With this information, I learned how to educationally handle my life again, handle the emotional stress. And within 3 months, my body fully healed, went back to normal functioning. I no longer have any of my autoimmune diseases anymore. I am not in remission. I'm permanently healed. I switched this to be my life's mission and career, and I take others down the same journey. They also, my students I work with, permanently heal in the programs that we teach. And that is what this channel is all about, Beyond Remission. And so today's topic is, in the title, God designed our bodies to be healthy. God designed our bodies to be healthy. And this video was inspired by 2 wonderful conversations I had with 2 individuals this week that have enrolled in my healing programs. I'm so excited for them. And they, like myself, have a relationship with God. And so I felt drawn to speak to them in this way. And this is an awareness that I had that really I needed, that helped me wake up and helped me actually begin to heal. And it is this awareness, it is this truth that God designed our bodies to be healthy. That He didn't design our bodies to be stuck with autoimmune diseases and stuck struggling with chronic illnesses. That He didn't design our bodies to have to maintain some semblance of health with a very complicated routine of supplements and food diets and cleanses and all of these medications and complication, that I know that is not how God designed our bodies to be, right? And the question is, what's preventing our bodies from being as God designed, right? And this spoke to them. It spoke to me too, and continues to speak to me. And so today I'm going to share more about my own personal story with this awareness about how God designed our human body and my body. I'm going to be sharing about what has actually been preventing our bodies to be as God's design, right? To be as fully healthy. And then the solution. What can we do about that? How can we regain our natural order and be as we were born to be, fully healthy? All right, well, let's get started. And this is all coming again from an awareness that I had. This all happened towards the end of my illness. I call it my illness journey, right? About the time I was 28, I think a few months before I came here to where I now work, a new life center, where I permanently healed my autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses. And at that point in my life, when I had this insight, I was at a rock bottom place and my life was incredibly complicated. I was only eating 5 foods. My diet consisted of strange anti-allergen foods and powders. I was taking probably about 15 to 20 supplements every day. I wasn't leaving the house much. I was depressed. I was anxious. I had left my career because my blood work tests and my doctor's appointments were taking up all of my time. And I was just emotionally, spiritually, physically exhausted. And I had an insight because I realized, Josie, you weren't born like this. What had my life turned into? I was not born with all of these autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses. And I realized, wait a second, God did not design my body to be like this. I knew that He did not design our human body to have chronic illness and autoimmune diseases and then have to maintain just barely living with all of these complicated external, ever-changing routines of symptom management. The suffering that I was in, that it didn't make sense to the God I knew, the God I had known since I was a child, the God that loved me, the God that designed our bodies just perfect to be healthy and to thrive. And I sat with that and I kind of woke up and I questioned myself. I said, well, if my body isn't functioning like God designed, what is preventing that? What am I doing that is preventing it from being as God designed, right? If I take away all the supplements and the medications and all these things that I was doing, could it be something that I was doing? Because if we really think about it, and I spent time here, the human body is the most amazing, I believe, of God's creation on earth. I have no doubt, and I never did, that He created us and our organs and the functioning completely perfect, completely right, to be healthy, to be able to sustain our health. And in the years that I was sick and I started to almost doubt this and feel that there was something wrong with me, it's almost as if I was doubting the love and the truth and the greatness of how God designed us. So this all led me to realizing that all the things I was doing at that time, right before I came to a New Life Center, again, that really complicated symptom management routine that I had, it didn't make sense. These two things didn't make sense. God designed my body to be healthy and to function properly. I shouldn't be needing all of these symptom management routines to sustain it. There was a missing piece. There was something I wasn't seeing, right? So it begged me 2 questions. And the first question was, first, how could I return my body? How could I restore my body back to God's original design? And 2, what was I doing unknowingly that was preventing my body from being in God's original design and preventing my body from regaining its health, right? Those were my 2 huge questions. Because again, if I was really healthy at that time, as I was designed by God, why did I need all of these extra supplements and foods? And why was my body struggling? Why was I struggling so much, right? So I needed this awareness. I needed this awareness to wake up, to realize that my life on supplements and plasma infusions and blood work and doctor's appointments and food diets that was never ending and would have been the rest of my life, that this actually didn't make any sense to the truth of the nature of how we were designed by God. And there was a huge crack in me and it left no gray area, that suddenly all the things I was doing kind of fell away. And suddenly it was like I was looking at myself back in the mirror. It was just me and this body that wasn't able to regain its health. And I asked myself, what could I change about myself? What could I do, right? Not buy, consume, go see someone else. What could I change to return my body back to the healthy and God-given state that I was born in? A state free of chronic illness, a state free of ongoing autoimmune diseases. How could I get back there, right? And so first, let me talk about how God made our bodies and the amazing concept of homeostasis. And so God made the human body and all of the creatures of earth to operate in homeostasis. And so what is homeostasis? Well, homeostasis is a mechanism that maintains a stable internal environment despite changes present in the external environment. So for example, when we go out in the heat and it's very hot outside, the body's mechanism of to maintain homeostasis is sweating, right? The body sweats to maintain a healthy internal temperature, homeostasis. On the other end of the spectrum, when our body is out in extreme cold environments, the body shivers. Why does it shiver? To pull up and bring up the core temperature. Again, that shivering is the body's natural mechanism as God designed of homeostasis. So we can always stay in that adaptive state so the body can always function properly, right, and maintain our health. God designed our body to be ever dynamic and adjusting, right, to maintain healthy functioning of the biology of our body. And so this begs the question, if the body that God made for us is a body that is supposed to be in homeostasis, what has caused our body to malfunction and create autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses? And that was the question that my insight left me. What was causing my body to not function properly? Why was it attacking itself? Why was it out of homeostasis? And so what I learned from this insight that I had, again, that I shared earlier, of me really just looking back at myself in the mirror after I realized that it made no sense, the symptom management routines and the lifestyle to maintain my health of supplements and diets and medications and specialists that had been created. I realized that the problem, in a positive way, it was me. That there was something about me that was keeping my body from homeostasis and creating all of the dysfunction in it. It was creating the immune system to be overactive. It was creating my chronic illnesses. It was creating the diseases in my body. And so in order to understand what is it about us that's unknowingly causing these conditions, and again, causing our body to be out of its God-given state of homeostasis, we must discuss the fight or flight mechanism and the sympathetic nervous system. So we're going to move into the physiology of the body right now, and this is going to help us understand why our bodies are not in homeostasis and then thus created our autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses. And so the fight or flight mechanism, it exists in a nervous system, part of the autonomic nervous system, called the sympathetic nervous system. Now, fight or flight is a mechanism that was designed specifically for our body to help us either fight off or flee from a physical threat that we encounter in life, if we were attacked, for instance. And what happens is if we, let's say, are attacked by a predator, the body goes into the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight is activated, and the body gets a flood of cortisol and other stress hormones that give us the kind of the heightened response to be able to fight off or flee from that physical threat. It's a very important mechanism of the body. And importantly, this is important, it's only designed to be on for about 2 hours, right? And then that threat is gone, it turns off. We go back to a nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system, and the body goes back to, again, it's our God-given state of homeostasis where the body's functioning properly. It maintains its health. Now, here's the important piece here. Unfortunately, the fight or flight mechanism cannot tell the difference. It cannot discern between a physical threat, which is what it was designed for, or an emotional threat. This is important, and this is going to explain to us why the body got out of homeostasis. So people like us who develop chronic illnesses or autoimmune diseases, we are living in a chronically activated fight or flight response. Our fight or flight, when we have an autoimmune disease or chronic illness, it's always on. It never turns off. Why? Well, the chronically activated fight or flight mechanism is caused as being turned on and not turned off because of the emotional stressors of our life. It's our emotional stressors. Remember, fight or flight can't tell the difference between a physical threat and emotional threat. And people like us are in a constant state of an emotional overwhelm, emotional stress. Fight or flight picks up on that and becomes chronically locked on from our emotional stress. And so, this is an important piece. It's our emotional stress that has caused our fight or flight mechanism to be under the incredibly unnatural state of being chronically locked on. And again, from here, this is where the dysregulation in the body happens. Stuck in chronically activated fight or flight because of our emotional state, the body cannot be in homeostasis, and it is dysregulated and remains dysregulated, again, going against God's design. So remember earlier I shared that I was the one, right, that was disrupting my body's ability to maintain and regain homeostasis. Well, again, that it was me unknowingly not handling the emotional stressors of my life and suppressing them that was causing my body to be out of homeostasis and was causing it to be unable to function as it was designed. So what I didn't know at the time, again, is that it wasn't something that was really wrong with me. Because if you're out there, I remember after about a decade of struggling with autoimmune disease and chronic illness, I honestly came to the point of wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong to God that he feeling like almost he did this to me? Why would he design my body like this? And then realizing, Josie, he didn't at all. What is it about me? Well, it's really the way that we were born. It's people like us who develop chronic illness, autoimmune disease. Again, we're not well wired to handle these emotional stressors of life. We are just more emotionally sensitive people, male and female, who develop these, and it's okay. But the problem is that we've never been taught how to handle the emotional stressors of life that happen in life. Things such as siblings being born, grandparents dying, moving, having children, starting a career, going off to college, becoming an empty nester, financial challenges. We don't handle these stressors well. We unknowingly suppress them in our physical body. We become easily overwhelmed by life stressors, big and small, and the circumstances. And it is this building of our emotional stress over a lifetime that eventually, again, fight or flight picks up, thinks we're under an emotional threat. We get locked into fight or flight, and when we move out of our natural state of the body's homeostasis, creating our illnesses. So when I came here, again, about 10 years ago to a new life center, the solution for me to regain my natural homeostasis, the way that God designed my body free of illness and disease, well, I had to learn a whole new perspective and a whole new way of how to understand, this is important, and how to better respond to the stressors of my life in a healthy way. It was education. And I tell you, it was so refreshing after years of supplements and foods and cleanses to learn that all I had to do was learn a new way, a new perspective of life, a new healthy response set to the life I had at hand. Wow. And I did. And within about 3 months, I was no longer living under that cloud of chronic emotional stress that I'd been living under my whole life. And very quickly, my chronically activated fight or flight mechanism finally turned off. The emotional threat was gone. And so that is really what it's about. Once we learn how to handle life in a supportive way, fight or flight turns off. Homeostasis is restored and my body returned to the natural order than the way that God designed it when I was born into this amazing world, right? My body became fully healthy. I moved back into the parasympathetic nervous system. All the dysregulation healed itself. My body regained homeostasis. Immune system went back to normal functioning. And for the over 10 years, I have been completely healthy. Not in remission, but completely free of all illness and disease, right? Because homeostasis is the way our body is supposed to be. And in homeostasis, chronic illness and disease does not and cannot exist. Isn't that a beautiful thing? And to me, it just solidified the truth of who I knew God to be. Again, He did not design our bodies to be chronically ill, to live in a lifetime of suffering of autoimmune disease and chronic illness. No, He designed our bodies to be in homeostasis. And I want you to know how empowering this has been my experience and how empowering this is, that if I know that I am causing the imbalance, right? That I'm the one, it's my emotional stress and not handling life in a healthy way, not responding to stress in a healthy way, that's causing my body to be out of homeostasis, well, then we become our own solution, right? We learn how to emotionally handle life and we can become in control of our life, our health, and our well-being again. Again, putting us right back in the driver's seat of our whole existence. And what really I can now see in retrospect, that awareness, learning how to do life, body back in homeostasis, I was able to move back into camp taking responsibility. Camp taking responsibility is a perspective of life, realizing that I am in control of my health and well-being. Singularly, it's me, and to never doubt that. Never doubt the full power we have to either have our health or to lose it, but again, having the power to regain it again. And this awareness took me out of the camp that I didn't know I was living in, but I can see now. It's called camp victim. Because before I had this awareness about God's design of the human body, and then again came to a new life center to learn how to handle life, to go back in homeostasis, I believed that the way my health was because of everything other than me. I was thinking it was because of my health issues were because of my upbringing. I thought they were because of my genetics. I thought it was because of the toxins, the foods out there that I was eating, the Epstein-Barr virus. No. Again, blaming unknowingly things and people outside of me for why my body developed autoimmune disease and chronic illness. And again, realizing that it was me learning a new way, regaining homeostasis. I am here on the other side to tell you, no, your body was not designed. God did not design it to be sick. He did not design it with autoimmune disease or chronic illness, and we are empowered to live in camp taking responsibility, to learn how to emotionally handle life, to get out of fight or flight, and to be as we were designed. And that is the message I have for you today. Again, God speaks to me in this way. I know this from my lived experience, and every person I work with, I see them healing and going back to God's original design, again, by regaining homeostasis. So if you're out there and you have an autoimmune disease or chronic illness like I did, and you are looking to regain homeostasis so your body can be back to healthy, back to God's original design, and live from that place, well, I have 2 online educational programs. I have the autoimmune healing program and the chronic illness healing program. And both of these programs fill the educational gap that we need to go back to homeostasis. The beautiful thing about going back to God's original design and place for our bodies is all we have to do is learn. We need to learn how to handle the emotional stressors of our life. It's like putting on a new set of glasses to see and perceive life through. From that place, you get out of chronically activated fight or flight, regain homeostasis, regain your health permanently again. All right. So if you're interested in either of those programs, down below in the description, I have a link to apply for a complimentary course consultation. Please know I would love to meet you, that this is the journey to regain the state that we were born in and that our body was designed in. And again, that God designed our bodies to be, to live as healthy. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to hop over to the comments section before we wrap up. All right. Okay. Well, thank you all so much. I won't be here for a live next Friday, but please know in 2 weeks, I will be back again with a new topic of how to permanently heal and go beyond remission.